Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is for my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, September 2nd. Friendly reminder, the markets are closed on Monday for Labor Day. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts in your trading, or maybe you're just interested in using charts and learning more about them and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. Ticker symbol number one, we are looking at OPEN. Been tracking this one very closely, and now we have some very well-defined levels headed into next week. And I think the level that a lot of people are going to be watching, so by no means am I trying to impress you or imply this is some sort of great discovery on my part, but I think a lot of people have drawn that trend line like that because that has done over the past couple of days a very, very good job of forecasting where buyers have shown up. I mean, look, if you were to picture this as a wave and the price action as a surfer, I mean, the price action has been surfing on that wave very, very nicely. So moving into next week, keep a close eye on that trend line as that initial and relatively important level of support. And then in regards to areas of resistance, key battleground to watch if there is any sort of attempted move back up there right at $4.53. So in some ways, you could just look at this as an ascending triangle pattern, which is a bullish pattern. There's the resistance, there's the support. Now, maybe you don't necessarily agree with that, but I think there is a little bit of room to potentially call that an ascending triangle. But all in all, yeah, it was disappointing as the price didn't gain and hold its its highs here. But at least it didn't come down there and crash through that trend line. It respected that trend line. So we'll see if this does indeed lead to some sort of breakout going into next week. Next one here, we are looking at IPDN, and big mover today, and now a good quality pattern here has formed. So let's get this pattern in play. We have the resistance part of the pattern right there on the pullback, and then we have this dynamic right here. And let me change that to green to represent support, and then maybe to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it all the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, then we have the nice upwards move right here. So to be fair, yes, the price has pulled back from its highs. But again, to be fair, assuming you care about the bigger picture, then yeah, you're going to acknowledge, well, sure, the price did pull back late day. However, what was going on before this pullback? And that's where the big movement happened here, which is what it's allowed for what's called a bull flag pattern to be drawn. So if you like bull flag patterns, you like this price range right around the $10-ish mark, then certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol NXTT, and nice mover here. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. From where the price was at its lows late day there to where it's now been able to bounce. Good solid movement that does lead to the fair question. Is there any sort of genuine power behind this price movement? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. And in my mind, it all revolves around this area right down here at the 33-cent mark. Why is that important? Well, price movements with genuine power are not going to go straight up. Nothing can go straight up, but they're at least going to show signs of progress. And that's where this level comes into play, because if the price were to come down here, behave like this, and then start to curl back upwards, what would you have at that point? Well, you'd have a set of lows here, you'd have lows there, and if you envision each one of those as stair steps, well, now you have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. Again, progress being made. Whereas on the flip side of things, and I'm not saying this will occur, but just for example's sake, if the price were to come down here and then continue on down, now what do you have? Well, now you have the price having gone right back to where it was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make a nice move and then all of a sudden go right back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So that is why I would say that 33-cent mark, very, very important moving forward. In terms of areas of resistance, main battleground to watch is that trend line right there, so keep a close eye on that. But in my opinion, at least, by far the most important dynamic is whether or not the price can show that sign of progress by staying above 33 cents. Next one, ticker symbol GMHS, and again, we have one of these nice overall patterns. So there's our resistance part of the pattern. This one's a little bit different than the bull flag. There is our support part of the pattern, and then let me just draw it in, make sure everybody can see it. So we'll keep the same color, resistance, support, nice upwards move here. Let's extend that out a little bit more and then for you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So bull flag, bull pennant, the same in some ways, different in others, but at the end of the day, the psychology is the same. The psychology being there was a big move up. Now there's a bit of a pullback, and now it's just a question of can the price get a break in the upwards direction. We'll see what happens next week. Next one here, NVDA, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that overall support trend line right there, and you can see the day started off not good, it gapped down, and then the price broke through that area, and then that really opened up the floodgates, and down it went from there. So overall, rough way to start to end the week. So I'll get rid of all those lines as they serve their purpose for now. Very near-term area of resistance that you got to think a lot of people are probably watching is a trend line, very similar to that one right there. So I'm not saying that there's any guarantees, but in my mind, valid to think that if a price can break up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. Again, guaranteed to happen? Absolutely not. But is that a valid question to throw out there as a possibility? Absolutely. And then in terms of areas of support, main level that stands out to me now moving forward, right down there around that level of 172.50. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, rough way to end the week, but we'll see. Can Tesla curl back upwards, get a nice break of that level, and then bring back in the momentum? Grab your popcorn for Tuesday. Real quick, I want to take a break and offer you up a solution to a very common problem that maybe you are suffering, and that is the pattern day trading rule, meaning you'd like to be a day trader, and I am defining day trader as having unlimited day trades every single day, but you can't because of that pattern day trading rule. Well, there is another market out there. There's another thing that you can do that will make the pattern day trading rule irrelevant, and quite frankly, give you opportunities at very, very smooth, very, very nice type movements. So if you are interested in learning more, check out the link. But I do understand if maybe you're a little bit skeptical, then that is why I am inviting you. Check out my live stream. I live stream every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. And that way you can come see this all for yourself. Ask me questions if you want, as I'd love to provide any sort of clarity if you do need it. So yes, if you are annoyed by the pattern day trading rule, if you want a market that moves very, very nicely, then definitely at least swing by the live stream. Next one, MOVE, and have ourselves another one of these overall patterns. So got to think everybody and their brother's uncle has connected those 2 points. So they're all going to be looking at that trend line next week. And then bottom part of the pattern right here. Now, I don't know if this is the best looking pennant, but again, the general psychology is the same. Big move up, now a bit of a pullback with consolidation. And then if you want to just consider that right there. But overall, like I said, don't get too hung up in trying to see the golf, the golf hole in the pennant. Just understand that it's all about the big move up, pulling back with some consolidation. So yeah, can the price get the move in the upwards direction? We'll see. But if you like bull pennants, you like the price range right around $1, then here you go. Next one here, NUKK. And yeah, you guessed it, we are going to be looking at yet another bull pennant pattern all of a sudden. So these patterns are popping up quite a bit here. But I mean, and I'm going through this quicker. I want to respect your time as much as possible and not sit here and repeat myself. So let's just make sure everybody can see it. There is our resistance. There is our support. There is the nice upwards move. There is the golf hole down here. We are looking at yet another bull pennant. Next one here, SOUN. Very, very nice day. Very nice afternoon as the price is pushing upwards. And even as I speak right now, price is still trying to push upwards. So very, very nice close to the week here. So no need to overcomplicate this in terms of areas of resistance. Where did the party stop today? And that was right there at the $13 mark. But the good news is that the price is now going to be closing very, very close to that area. So that doesn't guarantee that 13 is broken next week, but it makes it plausible. The closer the price gets to an area, well then yeah, the more plausible it becomes that that area could ultimately fail as resistance. So keep an eye on that. In terms of levels of support, main level to watch and the ideal level, when you say, hey Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? That would be if the price could stay above 1265. But from the bigger picture point of view, as long as the price stays above that purple line, that 50-period simple moving average, keyword being moving, so as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price stays above there, then that does imply the price is building higher bases, and higher bases is the name of the game. So keep an eye on that dynamic right there. So overall, though, great looking move. Been a while since the price went up this high, but you can see if it can get a break up through there, then the chart opens up quite a bit. And I'm not saying that, the price is going to, run straight up to that pink line there, the 200-period moving average, but there's certainly some open space here on the chart. Next one here, SOXS, and we'll see what happens with this one next week. But earlier on, I think we got a chance at a pullback because what we're looking at here is a rising wedge pattern. Now, you might think that a rising wedge is a bullish pattern, but actually the falling wedge is the bullish pattern. This is a bearish pattern. Now, I've talked a lot about bullish patterns, and as I said, just because something's a bullish pattern doesn't mean that the price is for sure going up. Same is true here. Just because it's a bearish pattern does not mean the price is going to go downwards. Now, if the price were to pull back here, would that sort of move be shocking? It would not be shocking at all, but it's certainly a more than valid question to throw out there as a possibility. If the price does break to the downside and pulls back, then preferably speaking, yeah, you'd want to see the price stay above that pink line, the 200 period moving average, currently valued at 695. And then again, in terms of areas of resistance, just watch the upper part of the pattern right there of the resistance line. So if the price does bounce back up, we'll see if the price can maybe push up above there. So all in all, rising wedge pattern, which does seem to suggest that maybe some sort of pullback will be required next week. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and a very rough way to end the week. Not necessarily because it was a red day, but just because it broke down through so many areas of support. First key area it broke down through was this area that I talked about previously. And then it came down to that pink line, which you now know is that 200 period moving average, broke down below that. And then that's just a classic example of a support turning into resistance, because after the price broke below it, you can see right there it went immediately to acting as resistance. So on that note, and actually let me just delete these lines out as they serve their purpose for now. But the near term area of resistance based on that rule is now going to be that pink line there. Again, you can already see it's acted as resistance. So 336, we'll call it 85, will be that initial area of resistance. Then if the price can break through there, you can keep a closer eye on that 50 period moving average. But one hurdle at a time, that first key hurdle will again be that 200 period right there. In the event the price keeps on bleeding, next key area of support to keep an eye on, right down there around the 326.35 mark. So keep an eye on that if this does roll right back over. And then after that, things could really start to get sketchy. But you don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because to be fair, this last 30 minutes has been very, very nice. You can see the volume has come back in. Nice green candle. So maybe this 30 minutes is a leading indicator of some more upside pressure to come next week. But either way, a very rough day to end the week here for Tesla. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you want to kick this pattern day trading rule to the curb, want to enter into a market that quite frankly makes penny stocks and small caps and low floats seem kind of like paint drying, then this is a market that does all of that, and you can do it in a very risk-friendly way. But like I said, I understand if this is all way, what's the catch? This seems a little bit too good to be true. Totally understand. That's why I'm inviting you. Check out the live stream. Again, start every day, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I go for a few hours. And come see it with your very own eyes and ask me any questions that you may have. So, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.